Ham Radio 2.0, episode 64. Unboxing and testing of this new Kenwood D74A Triband DSTAR HT. Now, I saw this the first time in Dayton of 2016. They had a small display. Well, I mean, the display was semi-small, but it was encased in a plexiglass box, so you couldn't even touch the thing, and it wasn't powered on, and it had a sticker overlay on the face of it to show what the screen would look like, but it wasn't powered on, and you couldn't really toy with it. So that was in May of 2016, about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 months ago, maybe something like that. This became available for sale to the general public late September. I picked one up at the Main Trading Days event. If you go back and watch episode 63, that's my ham radio days at Main Trading Company out in Paris, Texas this year. I really enjoyed recording that. We've already got plans for next year, so it ought to be really cool. But I picked this up, and I picked up this, you can't see it off the camera here, but over here, that's the new Yaesu FT891, and I've been tinkering with it a little bit today, and doing some Qs. I did 2 or 3 QSOs earlier, nothing really major, just a couple of statewide contacts that were Illinois QSO party. I made one contact with a guy doing Illinois QSO party, and then I made a contact with a guy doing National Parks on the Air. So that was kind of cool. I'll put those in the logbook. But today we're going to, I'm still doing some testing on the Yaesu. You'll see that in probably the next 1 or 2 episodes, either 65 or 66. I haven't decided which one it's going to be yet, but it's going to be one of those. But this is 64, the Kenwood Triband HT. A couple of really cool things about this HT. It is it is really expensive. For an HT, it's pretty expensive. But it'll do DSTAR. And I had said on my Dayton 2016 video that I was really disappointed it does DSTAR and not DMR, which I still am. I'm still disappointed in that. It should be a DMR radio, and they'd really be able to. Kenwood's just, I don't know why they want to try to do what's already being done. Now, nobody's doing 220 on DSTAR, and I don't even know if this works on 220 on DSTAR on the 220 megahertz band. I haven't tried it yet. I could probably try it right now and see what. Let's go back into VFO mode. Okay. Back into analog. There we go. And yep, there's that. Okay, 224-800, which is a local repeater here. And I put it into digital mode, KC5 HWB, and it keys up. So it keys up on 220 in if you put it into digital mode. There's a button up here at the top left. We'll get to see the face of the radio here in just a few minutes. There's a button up here at the top left that lets you switch back and forth between digital and analog. And then there's a band button over on, well, no, there's no band button. What you do is you put it into VFO mode, and then you hit the enter button in the center, and it blanks out. Take it out of digital, put it in analog, like this, and then it blanks out your display, and then you just type in the frequency. So that's how you. There's not really a band switch to switch back between the 3 bands, but you do it however you want to there. So that's one thing. I'm going to show you a couple of the menus here in just a minute and show you the GPS function. It is cool because it did bring down all the DSTAR repeaters near me. If you go into, let's see, if you have the GPS running, which you can turn that off and on, by default, the bottom right-hand corner button is called PF2, Papa Foxtrot 2. If you hit that, it turns your GPS signal on in the top, and we'll look at that up close here in just a minute also. But if you go up there and turn the GPS signal on, then you can go into the menu and you can scroll through and find repeaters near you. There's that. Nope. So that's kind of a neat feature. So I went through and pulled out all the 220 repeaters, 220, all the DSTAR repeaters near me, just a little bit. Well, actually, it was yesterday. But there's a couple that are near me that aren't listed here because they haven't been properly registered yet. A couple of the guys in the NetArt Club bought. I forget what the board is called, but they plug this little board into the back of their Fusion repeater, and it allows it to do DSTAR. So they've got a repeater running over here in Grapevine that'll do analog, DSTAR, and Fusion. And it's a standalone repeater. There's not any internet access. Well, no, I take that back. There is internet access. It doesn't have a Fusion HRI 200 box hooked to it, so it doesn't have access to Wires X. But it does Fusion, standalone Fusion. It has Echo Link on it, and in analog, obviously, and now it's capable of doing DSTAR. And I talked to the repeater trustee of that repeater the other day, and he's like, yeah, I need to register that, and just haven't gotten around to it yet. So eventually I'll be able to GPS pull that repeater down, connect to it, and see what's going on here. So that was kind of cool. I can't really hit it from here. All right, it came back to me just then. There it goes. You can see in the screen right there. If we can get close enough here. You can see that it's switched back now. KC5HWB. Comes up with the DSTAR, the call sign of the repeater trustee, and it says not linked to anything. So it's not linked to anything. It's online. I can key it in DSTAR, but it's not linked to anything right now. So I was listening to that earlier. Oh, that's way too close. I can zoom that out. Anyway, it's been fun playing around with this thing. I've been toying around with it for the last week or so. Since I got it, I guess it was the 8th is the day of the MTC show. And I picked it up that day, and I started tinkering with it the next day. And it's got a pretty good receive signal on 220, which is not surprising because 220, the noise floor is so low. I've made a couple of contacts on 440. I got some good audio reports. We're going to see a recording of that here in just a bit. And, you know, overall, for $650, it ought to it ought to be a good HT, and I think it is a good HT. I don't know if it's actually worth the price or not. You know, there'll probably be a lot of people that buy it because they're diehard DSTAR users, or they're diehard Kenwood users, or they want a Japanese-made Triband HT and they don't want to buy a Chinese brand HT. And realistically, the quality on this so far, what I've seen of it so far, is better than any of the Chinese Triband HTs that I've seen. But I think the real expense comes from the fact that it's because you can get a Kenwood TH-F6A for about $275 now, roughly. They were $300 for the longest time, and now they're about $275. The only difference between that and this one, I mean, it's got a little bit. It's got a color. This one's got a color screen. It's got a few newer features in it. This one's got APRS, obviously. But DSTAR is the biggest thing. This is the first ever Kenwood DSTAR radio, so it's unique. It's one of a kind. But I would expect over the next 6 to 9 months, I would expect the price to drop, just like it does on everything else when it first comes out. So if you think you want one, but you don't want to spend the money yet, just be patient, I guess. So let's take a look at this HT. If you found me on YouTube, go hit up my website at livefromthehamshack.tv, and you'll be able to see all the videos I've done. Again, this is episode 64. I'm Jason, KC5HWB. And this is Ham Radio 2.0. Let's take a look at the menus on this new Kenwood HT. Kenwood TH-D74. Some of you who went to Dayton might have seen this in a glass case that they wouldn't let you touch. This radio came out about a week ago at the time of this recording. Got my hands on one yesterday, thanks to the nice folks out at Main Trading Company. We're going to do an unboxing here real quick. I've actually already unboxed this, I should tell you. Played with it a bit, but I put it all back together so I could record this video. Make sure I've got this here. Of course, all the good paperwork. It's got a 8.5 by 11 sized manual here. Let's zoom back a tad. The owner's manual, instruction manual, is pretty large. So here's the box. This is your battery. It's got a lithium ion. Doesn't say what size it is. I'll look in a second and see what size it is here. Battery, Triband antenna, plug-in charger, belt clip, right here, belt clip, and the radio. I was pretty disappointed that a $650 radio didn't come with a desk charger. It comes with this plug-in charger that you... My DSTAR ID51A Anniversary Edition was the same way. It was only about half of... I got it for just under $300. I got a really good deal on it. But this sucker, this DSTAR Tribander, 5 watts, doesn't even come with a desk charger for as much money as it costs. So I thought that was kind of lame. But plug it up here and look and see what it can do and what it sounds like. Do a couple of QSOs with a couple of friends of mine on a local repeater here in just a few minutes. So battery is here. Battery is a KNB-75L is this is what I was looking for. 1800 milliamp hour battery. See if you can see that in the camera there. Yeah, 1800 milliamp hour battery. And got a latch on the bottom here which you pull out to remove the battery. On the side here it's got the DCN, well, of course this is where you plug it in to charge the battery. It's got a USB cable, looks like it's a mini USB connector. Does not come with the programming cable that I saw. Maybe I don't know if it takes a proprietary USB programming cable or not. I'll have to find that out. Micro SD card, so you can load some DSTAR stuff on it. And your standard 2-prong Kenwood connector, microphone, external speaker, whatever, headset there that you want. Power button here on the other side, monitor button, PTT. Been waiting to take that off. So power it up here. Hello, it says. Now let me move the camera in a bit. Okay. Zoom in. My battery's almost dead here, so we're going to do a little bit with it. This is the menu. Took me a few minutes to figure this out on my own. I have not cracked open the manual yet, but I did figure out how to program some repeaters into it, and analog repeaters into it. And I made a couple of QSOs. So here's your menu. This is your transmit and receive menu, which you can go in here. Repeater, set your offset, you can do auto offset, that kind of thing. Your transmit menu is where you would set your transmit inhibit, timeout timer, mic sensitivity. So this is your GPS, FM broadcasting. You can go in and listen to FM stereo. Memory channel, repeater list, call sign list. Call sign list may have something to do with DSTAR. Might look at that later. APRS, basic settings, my call sign. Let's put that in there real quick. Clear. Let's see. There. Back. It didn't take that. Okay. K. C. 5. HWB. Enter. There we go. Hit enter when you're done with it. icon person, symbol, strange, okay. Kenwood, radio, RV. Oh, you can change your, this is for the APRS settings. Sweet. Ham store. Hey, there you go. Red Cross Lighthouse. It's got a lot of stuff in here. It's kind of cool. Weather station, digipeater. Person. Let's just go to radio. Like that. And then we can go in here. Set a bunch of stuff like that. Smart beaconing. Yep, you can set a bunch of stuff in. I'm not going to go through all that, but there's your SD card. I don't have one installed right now, so I'm not going to do anything with that. Audio file. You can record a file or voice message. Digital, this is your DSTAR stuff here. Not going to go into that right now. In configuration, so we can do display. It'll do backlight control, timer, all that kind of good stuff. Power on message. Hello! There we go. Let's change that real quick. Him. Where's the, nope. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Clear. Yeah. The 0 is the space. 2. Dot. The dot's not centered, but that's fine. 2.0. Enter. Power on message. Ham radio 2.0. So let's look at that. There we go. Kenwood, ham radio 2.0. Look at that. Boom. Okay. Oh, it's the little things. So battery saver. You can see my battery level is pretty low right now. Bluetooth. Cool. I didn't realize this had Bluetooth, or at least maybe I forgot about it. So I've got a Bluetooth headset that I use with my Motorola DMR HT. And using this with it also. This is pretty sweet. So there's some DSTAR. So there's 9 different menus in here. And then you hit menu again to exit out of it. There's your 145.400, which is a close repeater here. Turn the volume up. KC5H WB testing. That's a fusion. It's a local fusion repeater that's running in analog mode right now. Obviously, we can switch back and forth between A and B. If you hold this down, I think. No, it doesn't. Oh, there it goes. If you hit function, then it changes it to a single band radio. If you don't want to listen to 2 bands at one time. So, function mode. Function will take you into the menu here. This menu here is where you can change your shift for your repeater offset, and then change your CTCSS tone. Step frequency. My position, that's for the APRS, obviously. There's where I'm at right now. So, a lot of neat stuff here. We're going to do some QSOs here. You can see the battery's red. So I'm going to charge the battery up, and we're going to do some QSOs here. The flashing symbol in the top left corner is the the GPS signal to it right now. So far, pretty easy to use. KC5 HWB testing.
Man, that was not near as clear as what the Baofeng was.
Really? Interesting. When you say not near as clear, is it just more static behind me, or what?
It's got more bacon frying on it into this repeater than the Baofeng, and the audio is not near as wide, as it has a lot less highs to it, and
it's on wideband.
And it's not that it has a lot of bass; it's just got a lot of mid-range to it, I would say. But it just doesn't sound as bright, and it just doesn't sound as bright, really.
Okay, well that's good to know. If you hadn't heard that other radio just now, how would it sound? I mean, is it still usable? I mean, surely comparing the two, great. But I mean, like if I was just talking normally, what would you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's perfectly usable. It's just the Baofeng sounded better. I would say that.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's perfectly usable, perfectly readable, no problems there. It just doesn't have the zing to it. It just doesn't sound as bright, I guess.
There might be a setting in here where I can change that. Either I'm going to make sure I'm not on narrowband, but there might be a mic gain setting in here. Give me a second. I'm going to look around. KC5 HWB.
WA5YXS.
Splitter. Was thinking I saw a... No. Was thinking I saw a setting in here a minute ago for... mic gain. Okay, yeah, KC5 HWB. I went in and there's a mic sensitivity setting, and it was on. There's a low, medium, high, and it was set on medium. So I wondered if that, if you can tell any difference there.
Yeah, it's got a lot more highs to it now. It's a lot brighter.
Okay.
Sounds about like what the Baofeng did.
Okay.
Seems like it still has a little bit more bacon frying on it than the Baofeng, but
Okay.
I mean, you're still 100% legible. Sounds good.
Okay, the Baofeng, I have a 15-inch high gain antenna on. This one's just got the stock antenna, although this is the new Kenwood Triband DSTAR radio. So I just took it out of the box. I picked it up yesterday and took it out of the box 2 minutes before I texted you. And I wanted to, since I was spending some time testing the Baofeng, I thought I'd go ahead and give this one a shot too.
Yeah, it's that's probably it. It's just probably the antenna is why it just has. It seems like it's got a little more static, like when you move around and stuff, than what the longer antenna did, and so that's perfectly accountable for that then.
Okay, the battery's showing red on this one also, so I may be losing a little bit on transmission. So if it's kind of regulating itself, you never know.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Well, good deal, man. Other than that, yeah, it sounds really good out there. So looks like you definitely have a winner.
Okay, good deal. Thanks for the test. I'm going to try one more thing if you're not going anywhere, so give me a couple seconds here. KC5 HWB.
Holding tight. Jim, if you got a chance to listen to him, would you kind of concur with what I said?
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, I've been listening when he was on the other setting and stuff. Yeah, it was definite improvement.
So I moved the mic sensitivity from medium. Medium was the default setting. I moved it to high. Now if you're in a windy environment, you might not want it on high. and it was perfectly readable beforehand. And if I wouldn't have keyed up on another radio prior to this one, he probably wouldn't have said anything realistically. But that is that.
That I hadn't made in a long time.
Okay, well, there's the new D74 Kenwood HT. You saw the settings in there where I had to turn the mic gain up to get it to sound as bright as a couple other radios. But, you know, that's not... Is a brighter sound better? I don't know. That's really kind of dependent on the person, I think. You know, Motorola's tend to have a more monotone sound, a little bit less highs and less lows and more mid-tones than some of the other ones, you know. And some of those Chinese rigs have too much highs and not enough lows, and they sound kind of tinny and kind of squeaky. So you don't want to sound like that. So, you know, it's really kind of a matter of personal preference. You don't want to sound like a robot, but you don't want to sound like you're in a cave either. So it's adjustable. There's 3 settings in this menu here. You can go into normal, wide, and narrow for the mic gain, and put that here where you can see it. There we go. And you can adjust that accordingly. So key it up, do some QSOs on some local repeaters, and switch it around and ask people what they think of how you sound, and depending on your repeater and depending on your voice, because everyone's voice is different also. Once you get it set, leave it alone. You don't have to mess with it anymore. That's my opinion. So, but I'm going to keep this one. Sometimes I buy these and I say, well, I'm going to turn around and sell it because I want to invest the money elsewhere. This one I'm keeping. I probably shouldn't because it's so darned expensive, but I'm trying to get my toes wet into DSTAR. I bought a 9051A anniversary a while back, and I've tinkered with that a little bit, but I don't really have a firm grasp on DSTAR yet. So once I learn a little bit more about DSTAR, I'll probably do an episode on DSTAR. In fact, I may do another episode on this radio to say, okay, let's do some DSTAR stuff with it. Because everything I did previous that you just watched, everything I did was analog. And quite frankly, there's not a DSTAR repeater close enough to me that's linked into anything right now that I can hold a strong QSO on. That one in Grapevine I mentioned earlier, if I went and stood in the right spot in the backyard, I could probably get into it. But again, I don't know how to link it to other... I was reading through the manual last night. The Kenwood comes with a really good manual. It tells you how to connect to DSTAR, how to register your call sign. I've done all that. All that's good. I've keyed up that repeater 2 or 3 times and just thrown my call sign out, and I haven't got anybody to come back to me. But I don't know if you have to go in there and connect to a reflector, or if somebody else is listening to that repeater in DSTAR, they should be able to hear me. But there's a way to go in there and connect it to a reflector and say I want to connect to Texas or connect to wherever else I want to. I haven't read up on how to do that yet, so that's why we didn't do any DSTAR. But yeah, it looks like it'll do DSTAR on all 3 bands. I just don't know of anybody who's got a 220 megahertz DSTAR radio, but you could do some simplex stuff with it. Be kind of cool. Go to a ham fest and do 220 DSTAR, and you and your buddy or two probably have the frequency to yourself. So that might be kind of neat. Anyway, 73 guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, hit me up. Questions at livefromthehamshack.tv. If you have any suggestions, send them to that same email address. Questions at livefromthehamshack.tv. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. This is KC5HWB. I'll be QRT.